become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Hey dudes, hope you guys are doing fine. I am Ayman and this is Though. So these were the words of Dr. Robert G. Oppenheimer after the Hiroshima and Nagasaki attacks on the 6th and the 9th August 1945 in Japan. And someone would wonder why would the man who's credited for the strongest weapon ever made by mankind is grieving instead of celebrating? Or is it just me? Anyway, let's not get into the philosophy of war and let's focus on the scientific side of the incident. So, this week, my fellow nerds and geeks, we are going to discover how nuclear bombs work, and without further more, let's dive right in. The whole thing started in 1938 when an Austrian slash a German scientist, Lise Meitner and Otto Hahn discovered nuclear fission. If you wanted more information, read about Dr. Hahn's work on radioactivity. But for now, let's keep it brief. So, nuclear fission is when an unstable heavy atom splits in two or more atoms that are more stable and releases energy in the process. The fission also releases a number of neutrons that would split each another atom, producing that's what's called a chain reaction. The amount of energy produced by that is very huge that 1 kilogram of uranium 235 contains 2 to 3 million times the energy of 1 kilogram of oil. And as sick as we are, the first thing that came to our minds was nuclear weapons. So we witnessed some unsuccessful programs such as Nazi Germany's Uranium Club and some very successful ones. The one we are talking about today, known as the Manhattan Project and the Soviet Union program after the war. The Allied forces, presented by USA, Britain, the Soviet Union, and Free France, were very afraid that Nazi Germany would reach the atomic bomb first, and that would be that would mean the end of the war and the end of the world as we know. They were terrified just from the idea that Hitler would possess such power, so the Manhattan Project was born. The Manhattan Project included 130,000 employees. Now that's a huge number of scientists and engineers from all around the world that were employed by the USA. The expenses alone were valued with $2 billion. This would be equivalent to nearly 29 billions in 2020. All the work from 1939 to 1945 was to figure out how to put the nuclear fission we talked about before in a weapon. The first bomb dropped in Hiroshima was called the Little Boy because it has a thin cylindrical shape. In the 6th August 1945, the USA managed to destroy the city of Hiroshima and kill an estimated number of 150,000. The bomb was filled with 64 kilograms of uranium 235 and produced a blast equivalent to 15 kilotons of TNT. The second bomb was dropped in Nagasaki. It had the name of the Fat Man. 3 days after the first bomb, the Fat Man was dropped on Nagasaki. 75,000 victim. This time it was filled with only 6.4 kilogram of polonium, but managed to unleash a blast that's equivalent to 21 kilotons of TNT dynamite. Anyway, the mechanism is very easy for the little boy bomb. The bomb will hit the ground, an explosion starts that pushes something called a uranium bullet. That bullet heads toward the back of the bomb. It hits something called the uranium target. A chain of reaction starts, and boom, that easy. Basically, the same thing happens in the polonium bomb, but this time the explosives are from the outside, then a hollow polonium sphere, and then the neutron, and boom again. So that's the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Send us your feedbacks. I am Ayman, and this was a though.